If you have the words QA engineer on your resume or LinkedIn right now, I need you to stop whatever you're doing and watch this video because the industry has moved, the bar has shifted, and the skill set that gets someone hired as a QA engineer in 2026 is completely different from what it was even 3 years ago. And I'm not talking about fancy stuff. I'm not talking about AI testing or performance testing. I'm talking about the absolute baseline, the minimum viable set that hiring managers now expect on day one. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through all 4 things. If you can't do all 4 of them, you are not ready to call yourself a QA engineer. Not yet, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to go study. Let's get into it. Here's the thing nobody tells junior QA people when they're starting out. That job description on the posting, it hasn't caught up to what the job actually is. 5 years ago, QA was mostly manual testing. You had a test script, you clicked through an app, you filed a Jira ticket. That was it. And that was fine because that's what teams needed. But what about now? Now QA engineers are embedded in agile teams. They're sitting next to the developers. They're expected to understand the system, not just the UI that sits on top of it. The 4 skills I'm about to cover are the ones that separate someone who does QA work from someone who actually is a QA engineer. And yes, there's a difference. Okay, skill number 1, API testing. Here's a question. If I told you to test a login feature, what would you do? If your answer is open the browser, type a username and password, and see if it works, that's a start, but that's not enough anymore. Because what if the API accepts a login request with an empty password field? What if it returns a 200 OK even when authentication fails? You'd never catch that from UI alone. An API is essentially the contract between the front end of the application and the back end. It's how data moves around. And as a QA engineer, you need to be able to test that contract directly. The tool that most teams use for this is Postman. It's free, it's visual, and it's beginner friendly. You should be able to open it, put it in a URL, select a method, get, post, put, or delete, and send a request, and then actually read what comes back. What comes back is usually JSON data, and you need to be able to look at that JSON and answer 3 questions. Did I get the right status code? Did this response body have all the fields I expect? And does the data inside make sense? For example, you hit a GET request for a user profile. You should get a 200. The body should have an ID, a name, and an email. If any of those things are missing, or if the email field contains something that isn't an email, that's a bug, and you found it without touching the UI at all. This is not advanced, this is baseline. If you've never opened Postman, that's your homework after this video. Or if you want to learn everything about API testing, I have a course on my website that goes over everything that you need to know about API testing, from the foundations to using Postman to writing automated API tests. Use coupon code subscriber at checkout to save $5 on the course. Skill number 2 is reading logs. And this one is a big one because this is where I see junior QA engineers completely freeze up. You find a bug, something broke, the developer asks, did you check the logs? And you have no idea what they're talking about. Logs are the system diary. Every time something happens in a backend system, a request comes in, a function runs, something fails, it writes a note. And those notes are your best friend when you're trying to understand what exactly went wrong. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a developer to read logs. You don't, but you need to be able to open them and not panic. Here's what you're looking for. First, filter for errors. Most log systems let you search or filter by log level. You want error and warn. That's where the problems lived. Second, look at the stack trace. A stack trace is basically the system telling you exactly where it broke, which file, and which line of code. You don't need to fix it. You just need to be able to copy it and paste it into your bug report. Third, look at the timestamp. When did the error happen? Does it match when your test ran? This is how you confirm that what you see in the logs is actually related to what you are testing. If your team uses something like Kibana, Datadog, or CloudWatch, those are just fancy interfaces for looking at the same log data. Start with the browser console and DevTools if you haven't touched any of those yet. Open Chrome, press F12, click Console, reproduce your bug. I guarantee you will see something there you didn't know was happening. The ability to find, read, and quote a relevant log line in your bug report is the difference between a junior QA and one who's actually useful to a dev team. Skill number 3 is writing test cases. And yes, I know what you're thinking. I know how to write test cases. Bear with me because most people are doing this wrong. A test case is not a to-do list. It's not a go to the login page and check that it works. That tells me nothing. Nothing about what works means, nothing about what I should see, nothing about what the starting conditions were. A good test case is a precise specification of a behavior. When I read your test case, I should be able to reproduce your exact test in a completely different environment without asking you a single question. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a bad test case. Title is login, steps say login, check it works. The expected result is it works. This is useless. I don't know what credentials you used. I don't know what URL you went to. I don't know what works means. Did the user land on a dashboard, or did a token get set? Now look at the good test case example. Title tells me the specific scenario, login fails with correct email and incorrect password. Precondition tells me the account already exists. Steps are numbered and specific, exact URL, exact input values, and the expected result is observable. I can see the error message. I can check that no token was set. I can confirm the user stayed on the login page. That level of specificity is what makes a test case useful for running it repeatedly, handing it off to someone else, automating it later, and writing a clear bug report when it fails. If your test cases right now are closer to the bad example, that's okay. Start rewriting them. The practice of writing precise expected results will also make you a sharper tester because you'll have to actually think about what correct behavior looks like before you test. Skill number 4 is CI/CD knowledge. And let me be clear about what I'm asking here. I'm not asking you to set up a pipeline. I'm not asking you to write YAML from scratch. I'm asking you to understand what's happening so you can operate inside a modern engineering team. CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery. Here's a short version. Every time a developer pushes code, an automated system kicks off. It builds the code, it runs tests, and if anything fails, the code doesn't move forward. It doesn't go to staging, it goes to production. As a QA engineer, your automated test should be part of that pipeline, which means when you write a test, it's not just something you run locally on your laptop. It runs every time anyone on a team pushes code. It is a living, automated gatekeeper. So what do you actually need to know? First, you need to be able to find the pipeline. Most teams use GitHub Actions, Jenkins, GitLab CI, or Circle CI. Find where your project pipeline lives and look at it. Second, you need to be able to read a pipeline run. When it fails, you need to be able to click into it, find which stage failed, and read the output. Is it the build? Is it a specific test? Is it a connection timeout that suggests the test environment is broken? Third, you need to understand the concept of a flaky test. A flaky test is one that passes sometimes and fails sometimes for no clear reason, usually due to a timing issue or environment problems. Flaky tests erode trust in the entire test suite. Knowing what they are and how to flag them is a real QA skill. You don't need to be a DevOps engineer, but you need to be able to look at a CI run and say, the build passed, the unit test passed, and my integration test failed at line 42 with a 401 unauthorized. That sentence alone makes you 10 times more valuable than someone who just says, the test didn't run. Those are the 4 skills. Let's do a quick gut check. Can you open Postman, send a post request to an API endpoint, and tell me whether the response body is correct? Not just the status code, but the body. Can you open your team's logs, filter for errors, find the relevant line, and put in a bug report? Can you write a test case right now for any feature you've recently tested with a specific, observable, expected result that someone else could verify without asking you any questions? And can you find the project CI pipeline, open the last failed run, and tell me which stage failed and why? If you're honest and some of those feel shaky, that's good. Now you know exactly what to work on. That clarity is worth more than watching 10 more videos about what QA should be. Here's what I want you to do this week. Pick one skill from that list that you're weakest on and spend 2 focused hours on it. Open Postman and hit a free public API, read through a GitHub Actions tutorial, or rewrite 3 of your existing test cases with better expected results. The gap between where you are and where industry expects you to be is smaller than you think, but you have to actually close it. If this video was useful, please like and subscribe. I put out content like this every week for QA engineers who are serious about leveling up. And drop a comment below which of these 4 skills is your biggest weak spot right now. I read every comment. I'll see you in the next one.